No, I did not talk about Gavin and Censored. We can do that next, though. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about Compound Censored. I wanted to I'll pull up my tweet because I saw some comments here, and you guys might have questions as well. This is my little announcement saying that I am not going to continue with the merger. I'm not going to be part of Compound Censored. It just was not a good deal. Look, I was working for Compound for very little money, and Gavin offered me even less than that, if you can believe it. So it was in a sense a very easy decision, because why would I agree to make less than I make on YouTube for a smaller audience? It does not make sense. Oh, Star Wars girls being nice, saying you don't need them. Is the Simcast still going? Yes, Simcast had nothing to do with Compound Media. That's always been one of my YouTube shows. Oh, look, a very important from the office of Chrissie Mayr's boobs. We are pleased to announce the debut of our show, The Wet Nurse Spot. Okay. Very funny. Very funny. Boobs. Pill.net would host you. It is nice that people are going, oh, this person will host you. This person will host you. It's like, I don't know. I think I'm good with like Rockfin, Rumble, YouTube is good. Um, From Brett Stevens. Can someone explain to me how the Compound Censored business model works if hosts don't get a salary and are paid based on revenue generated? Why would anyone choose to broadcast on their platform? Can't they go on YouTube or Rumble and probably get a better split? Which Frank just said yes. Thank you. Good to know. What doesn't seem to really make sense really doesn't make sense. Good luck to you both going forward. It gets better. The hosts have a 20% discount code for their fans to use, but Gavin undercuts them with a generic 25% code. Is that true? I didn't know about that. That's kind of funny. If so, what is it? Nobody really knows what the business model is. I don't think it is standardized for everyone. I think some of the shows get paid per episode. Yes, that's true. I think others get paid on how many subs they bring in via their discount code, per what Gavin has said on air. Yeah, and I've heard just controls, like he's not letting everybody know what the views are. Just like a Compound, we had no idea what our views were. Which is frustrating when you're you stream on YouTube, you know exactly what your analytics are, you know exactly how many people are watching and when and for how long. And for 5 years I had no clue. I mean, I kept hearing, "Oh, your show is one of the top shows. Your show is the top in the top 3 after In Hot Water." Okay, but I would have liked to have known. I would have liked to have known like what episodes did really well content-wise so I could do more of that, like what guests brought in the most viewers so I could have them back more often. So that made things tougher. Oh, Super Ninja wrote a comment. I said it once or a dozen times while I was drunk on set, and I'll say it again here. I'm with you in any direction you decide to take next. While I do feel like it's sad to see the wet spot end, the next chapter is gonna rock in whatever form it takes. I truly believe you're just getting started, Chrissy. Thank you, Super Ninja. I'm shocked. Oh, this is from Brutal Britty. Good for you, Chrissy. I've lost respect for Gavin as Enrique Tario serves 22 years in prison for not being at J6. 22 years. That's rough. Gavin wanted to walk away from his organization without consequences, and Tario had the right ethnic attributes for public relations. Then Gavin faced his own arrest and disappearance. God, I don't know too much about that. I've heard about it, but I feel like I should know the whole story there. Oh, Ashley, that's funny. Let's see if there's more questions in here. He'll do great no matter what. Can't believe all the crazy times that we had at the studio. Oh, I know, Lindsay. It was fun. I hope you come to DabbleCon too. I can't come to DabbleCon. It's next month in August. The baby is still too young for me to go do that. Wanna do a Dungeons& and Dragons show with me instead? People love Dungeons& and Dragons. You do great character work. We would attract a very dedicated audience if we did that show, even just once a month. What do you have to lose by trying? I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna like it. You know what, meme bastard? Um, sure. I don't know if I know how to play Dungeons& and Dragons. I don't know if I know. David Carpenter! Great to catch you live, Chrissy. Following you and Gino and Steve and Garrett instead of Compound Censored. Thank you, David. You're the best. Appreciate you, buddy. You would watch me do a Dungeon Dragon. All right, sure. I'm down. That's fun. Okay. The studio you were using plus the broadband cost more than the show you were doing. Well, maybe. Yeah, because that studio was what, like, I don't know, 4 or 6 grand a month to pay just in rent. And out of pocket, I would pay for my announcer. I would My God, I spent so much money at Sullivan's, it's not even funny. I look back to my bank account before I got pregnant. It was easily, oh my, at least $50 every time I went to Sullivan's because I was always buying people drinks or sometimes getting food there before the show. That's really who's going to take the biggest hit in all of this here in compound going down slash merging, whatever you want to call it, is Sullivan's. They're going to lose so much business. Are you kidding me? From Gino alone, I was spending a fuck ton of money there. My God. I was happily buying people drinks. It was just a great place to hang. Boop, boop, boop. Probably a good move. Love all those guys, but if you can monetize your independence, that's truly invaluable. What happens to you now, Chrissy? Says Normandy the cat. What happens to me now? I finished building out my home studio so I can have in studio guests. I continue to stream on Rumble and YouTube and Twitter and all the places and Rockfin. And you know what I might do as far as Wet Spot goes? Try to book a live show for it, like maybe once a month or something. Because I can't do the Wet Spot here. It's just not the same. Oh, what are all the bleacher creatures gonna trek out to Westchester every month? No. And where would I even put them? I don't have bleachers here. Do, 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 do. Rolling the rushes. Sorry to hear that, but you have to do you. Now get back on the road, slacker. All right, Roland. Why did they decide to merge anyways? They decided to merge because Anthony moved to South Carolina and paying for the studio was too much. It was just too much of an expense for him to keep it going. And he really just wanted to do his own show. And once he moved, it's like he's not getting the benefit of the studio anymore and keeping all that going. And all the fun of like living in New York. That's once he moved, that was gone. So it was just kind of a big expense for him. And he didn't want to like be a boss. I think he just wants to do his show and that's it. And simplify his life. Do 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 do. What is this long comment? Yeah, Anthony was an overgenerous person. Yeah, and it's cheap Scotsman, both of which they both have shared and best into and beat into the ground. And to be fair, I never re-upped my subscription a few months ago because it got stale. They had their run, and you are very funny, as they are, but new material is slightly important. You're talking about me or them with new material? I think it sounds like you're talking about them. Must sting to lose your show. No, I saw this coming. And again, it was only a 1 day a week show. Not that I wasn't doing it for the money, I was doing it because it was fun. I loved using that studio, I loved having kind of a Midtown Manhattan, kind of home base and people that were in town in New York City just for, like, the week or the weekend that could come, do a little show, and we could hang out, have lunch or something. So, it's like it's not really like you're losing your whole hand. It's like, "Oh, you lose a pinky." But no, it's really more like a starfish that loses a leg because you can grow back a leg. This is a horrible metaphor. But enough with that. I didn't even know you had another show. I think this is where most people are at. They're like, "What? What's the wet spot? What's compound?" It was good. It's where I got my start. I will always be grateful to them. Um, I didn't know you had an office. Very pretty resignation later. Needs more pink. You go, girl. Um, mm, 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 mm. I hope you would have continued your wet spot show on Rumble. Again, I would need a big studio for that. Because Wet Spot was really it was the banter with the Booth Boys, it was the Bleacher Creatures, it was, having a centrally located spot to have guests, like girls who were in town, and I can't really do that from home. Wouldn't you be able to do your show because they would s I need some clarification if you don't mind. You wouldn't be able to do your show because they would censor you, but they fight censorship? I might have read something wrong. That's my takeaway. No, the negotiations were just horrible. They devolved. Like, I was being offered less than Compound. It was like a worse deal. So, it didn't make sense for me. And, I couldn't it would be creatively stifling because at first it was like, "You can use the studio." Then it was like, "You can't use the studio." Then it was like, "Oh, you can have guests at the studio." And then it was like, "No, you can't. Antifa will discover us and shut it down." And at first it was like, "You're gonna make the same money as you made at Compound." And then it was like, You're not gonna make any money. It's just a 2-week trial." And then it was like, "Oh, well, you're gonna make some, but now it's less than Compound." So it was like a lot of sort of jerking around. Ain't nobody got time for that. How does this affect Michael Gavin Ali? That's a very good question. I don't know. I'll have to think. I'll have to think. You think Anthony will end his show this year? I don't think so. I don't think he would have gone to the trouble of building out his whole home studio to just end his own show. Um, that sucks. They couldn't work something out with you. You have done nothing but talk great about both of them also. They should have gave you what you wanted. Thank you, Kyle Moose. I'm trying to stay professional. Trying to take the high ground. Oh, thank you, Z Highness. Rumble. Yeah, Rumble's cool. We like Rumble. Nothing merged. Compound shut down and Ant now works for Gavin. End of an era for sure. Yes, of course, K-Max, everything. This will all continue. CMP and interviews. It slowed down a bit because of the baby, but that's all gonna come back as the baby gets a little bit older and I can be away from him more to do more work. I'm looking for questions. Oh, this was a great comment. Thank you, T Dog. Wet Spot had a fun Howard Stern show vibe from when Howard Stern was still great. Hope to see it come back someday. Censored, you got great political content with Gavin and Anthony, but you need fun shows like the Wet Spot and Hot Water. Well, I guess they didn't see it that way. Chrissie Mayr Uncensored is a great title and concept for a show. You should consider hosting it somewhere else. Maybe. Yeah, I might shop it around. I think a woman who has given birth to a human and the Dabbleverse will be fine on her own. Those are my favorite legacies. Uh-oh. Rumble, everyone's saying rumble, rumble, rumble. Okay, onwards and upwards. From an account I muted. Uh, 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 um. Okay. Yeah. It's a shit show anyway if they don't sort out the technical issues. This merger will be the death of tax too. Whoa. Oh, this is a new from 6 minutes ago. My compound subscription ended today, not subscribing to Censored. I loved Wet Spot. Oh, thank you. 0 followers. It doesn't matter. I love Wet Spot. Please do a similar show in the future, even if it's part of a comedy show you've booked where you bring on a couple of guests. What could go wrong? Thanks, Chrissy, and good luck in the future. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What? What I mean is, I like what Artie, Ant, and Jim did with Joe Matarese, or even a Legion of Skanks type thing with MGA. That's a great idea, actually. That's a really good idea. That's a good idea. Da, 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 da. All right. Oh my God, there's so many comments on this. Gavin got tired of you associating with those losers on FNT. I don't think he thinks about FNT at all. Yes, I am a class act. Ba da 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 da. Da 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 da. That seems like mostly all of it. Da 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 da.